That's right. It's time for the Dog and Chicken Show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is another episode of the Dog and Chicken Show. This is episode 43, and we're bringing this show to you. We are not live tonight, but we do have our normal guests, and we got Phil with us and Tony, of course. But tonight, a very special episode. We decided not to do it live because there's a lot to get into. Maybe we'll bring OBAMAGATE live someday, but there's a lot to learn here. But first off, Tony, what do you know about OBAMAGATE?
Mostly just what I've been hearing over the last week or so, discussing it with you guys on the podcast and in passing. But essentially, what I know is all that stuff you've been hearing about the current president. It was pretty much deflection from the previous president. So I'm really excited to kind of hear more takes on this and get diving into this, because it's just mind blowing to me that you look at politics one way and you can be so passionate about it and so passionate about one particular group of political ideals, and then completely ignore the fact that the other side did the exact same thing. It's just mesmerizing to me. That's what I love and hate about politics.
Oh, yes. Phil?
One of the defining political scandals of our time, easily, objectively, by any measure you want to look at it, worse than Watergate. Watergate got Nixon impeached over the fact that he didn't know about the break-in, but he knew about the cover-up, and that was enough to impeach him. Obama knew at every single step of the way, was perfectly cognizantly aware of the unmasking, and actually informed members of his administration that were going to stay on to the Trump administration, not to inform them on key bits of information relating to Russia. This is one of the defining scandals of our day.
Yeah, well, yeah. Just summed it up. There's the show, folks. We're good to go.
Thanks. Bye.
See you next week. No.
This goes a lot deeper, but that is
it does
the elevator pitch, if you will. That is how you would, if you were bringing somebody who is a complete neophyte to this idea. How would you let them know? Yes, this is worse than Watergate, easily, beyond any measure, shadow of a doubt. If the Democrats ground our country to a complete halt for 3 years over something that amounted to a hoax and is a whole cloth fabrication, according to the people who even investigated the Russian collusion hoax, we now must, we have no choice but to turn that same level of attention onto this extremely bad behavior.
Yeah. We went through 3 years of dragging a duly elected president through the mud and claiming collusion and filed and actually got impeachment. Didn't go any further, but was it all a cover up for this? Like, is that really how deep it went? Was this all just deflecting, as Tony had mentioned, to the point of, well, we got away with all this shit, so we don't want him to get on to us, so let's take him out? Or is there a little bit of that going on with it too? Or was it just straight up go after Trump?
At this point, it's quite clear that the higher up echelons within the FBI, their intent was to bog down the Trump administration. That was Comey's apparent goal. That was the people who were interviewing Flynn. And the smoking gun in all this, in my opinion, is the note that says, what's the goal here? Truth admission, or to get him prosecuted or fired? When is it ever the goal of the FBI to get someone fired? Their truth admission should be the only goal. That is a smoking gun beyond, like, I mean, there we have it. I mean, that's pretty damning to at least that level on up and everyone who was aware of it. And we have now had documents that even Obama was made perfectly aware of all of this. Biden, who knows how much he knew, he actually made a personal request for an unmasking of Flynn. So
eight
he's
days
not
before he
squeaky
left
clean.
Office.
Yes. So he ain't wow. Really? I didn't know it was 8 days before he left office. So, okay. So that was hard to say that's for anything other than malicious and nefarious purposes. It's really, it's one of those things that it is beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah. I guess one thing we should probably do with this is back it up a little bit, because some of this probably already going over a lot of people's heads. Who the hell's Comey? Who the hell's Flynn? Who the hell are these people? This goes back well before 2016, but 2016 is where the timeline really starts to get important. As we know, we're in the midst of the Trump and Hillary election there. There's a lot of things that happen in the background, and this is what led to the Trump impeachment. Was during that time cycle and that time frame, there was we've all heard of the FISA documents, right? Everybody knows, or at least has heard of what was going on there. This was Christopher Steele was a guy that came up with this dossier. And it was manufactured. Now, most of these dossiers, sometimes they're manufactured, sometimes they're not, but you could base a lot of information off there. So Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele manufactured this dossier, which had no real information. Then the FBI used it to go into a FISA court to get a FISA warrant, and to continue investigations that had stopped in 2014. So they had stopped these investigations, and they manufacture this dossier saying, hey, look, there is collusion and corruption and Trump's involved. So they use this fake document to open things up. And then that's where, we get into the who shall not be named, maybe Erica Marshmallow. Do not say the actual name of the CIA operative, later turned to whistleblower. How dare you? Even though it's well-known news at this time. So you start getting muddy water already, because now we've talked about, Christopher Steele, we've talked about Fusion GPS, we're talking Peter Strzok involved, calling this as insurance policy against Trump being elected, and then Erica Marshmallow, who you cannot actually say their real name. This was all an investigation attempt against Paul Manafort back in 2014 that the FBI had closed. It was just a way to get them to reopen it. Then the cookies start crumbling a little bit. You have to understand the whole timeline, though, because this has been all levied against Trump from the start. Now, whatever, you've watched some of these shows. Some of you may think I'm a staunch Trump supporter all of a sudden, but I'm pretty critical of him. I think he's an asshat a lot of times, but this is just, it gets blatant after a while when you start going through the timeline and see what they do. They did this, they faked this, they made up fake documentation to open up a fake investigation. And then when you start getting into 2017, 2018, and more people know that this whole thing was fabricated and made up, and they know that it's all made up, and they still are pushing for an investigation, it is just, at a certain point, what was Trump accused of? He was accused of using his political power to possibly collude with a foreign government or to sway an election. That's exactly what the other side did. And they tried to claim he did it. It's just fascinating.
Well, not just that, but it's two sides of the same coin. You're looking at this being, they're trying to collude with other agencies to get bad shit on the incoming president, whereas now Trump was impeached for saying, hey, the former vice president, maybe we need to look into that, and then it blows up into a full-blown impeachment on him. I just, it baffles me, though, because it only seems to happen. Like, this stuff only seems to get talked about, and this stuff only seems to be demonized. And like you mentioned, you can, oh, you're a full-blown Trump supporter, you're a hardcore Republican. But I mean, look at the history. This stuff only seems to be a big deal and worthy of impeachment. And if the person that we're talking about in question is Republican, like, Democrats seem to, the population seems to justify just about anything a Democratic politician does if their agenda is blatantly against a Republican. So I guess my question is, when did it become okay for some, if it means being okay in the grand scheme, because you're ridding of us of evil in some people's eyes?
I think it was when the media decided to stop reporting the news and started picking sides, and instead of being journalists, they are just outrage culture, clickbait, wanting money hungry fake news artists. Like, and that's, you know, Trump. How much shit did Trump catch back in the prior election of calling them fake news? He was calling them what they were, and a lot of people weren't hip to it. They didn't realize that half of these news articles you pull up, the first 5 lines are nothing but opinion. There is no news in there. It's all hyperbole, and it's like, you know, me and Phil in a you know, we don't agree on something, so I'm going to write an article about Phil, and I'm going to be like, this preposterous unkept piece of shit of a man. Like, that's not news. That's just my opinion and how I'm gonna. No, I'm just talking shit. But no, that's exactly what they do. Is they paint this narrative before you even get to a news story or get to any fact. They give you their opinion, and then it's subconsciously put into your head of, oh, well, I'm not supposed to like this Phil guy. I can't wait to read more about how bad and nefarious he is. And then by the time you get to it,
not
it's
just
really
a
easy.
Fabrication. Like, because a lot of people assume that the fake news tagline means a fabrication of the news. It's not exactly that. They don't really have to make up the news, because they're just sharing their warped opinion on said piece of news, and they're skewing it into your opinion without even making the effort. But the other tool that they use is just not reporting the news. Look at the what was it, all the kids in detention because of illegal immigration. Well, once they found out it was not Trump, it was back in 2015 when it was Obama, all of a sudden the news disappeared completely. So reporting the news or deleting the actual information, I think that's an even more dangerous tool for the fake news.
Yeah. Real quick, while we're on the fake news topic, I want to share. I just looked up Obamagate, just Googled it just to see what pops up, so I can show you what I'm talking about. These are the headlines that pop up. As national polls show Trump trailing Biden, he doubles down on Obamagate narrative. Trump pushes McConnell to embrace Obamagate. What is Obamagate really about? Now, most of these don't seem too nefarious. And then let's click on The Atlantic. 2 days ago. How to understand Obamagate. Trump's latest catchphrase is an attempt to recapture the force that first propelled him in political prominence. Okay.
That seems like that'll be fair and down the line.
Yep. Now let's read the first paragraph. President Donald Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic, or his lack of a plan to do so, has been almost universally criticized. And while Trump has been obviously angry at the criticism, none of managed to spur into real action. Barack Obama weighed in, and so boom. This is
it's
exactly
just another smear piece on Trump.
Exactly.
But here's the problem. And I got to give the president credit on this. He's so good at labeling. He's just a master of labels, like Creepy Joe, Crooked Hillary, Lion Ted, Low Energy Jeb. He's just great at labeling. And Obamagate, no matter how much they try to decouple it, it's still Obama's scandal now. No matter how they try, no matter what kind of smear tactics, smear campaigns, how they try to do this, they still have to put the word Obamagate. And it's one of those things. Don't care what you say about me, just spell my name right. And Donald Trump is the perfect example of that. You can say whatever the hell you want about him, just spell the man's name right.
right.
Well, he's. I mean, look at it. His history before politics is all about branding and putting forth a brand and being successful, working a brand. Of course, that's going to translate perfectly into smearing your opponents in the political field, because the word Obama is such a stigma of a name in the public's eye, regardless of what side you're on. And then obviously the Watergate comparison, that's, even these many years later, still fresh in people's mind. You combine the two, it's perfect. I mean, you're really not going to find a better way to label this. I think it's hilarious, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as much as I hate to say, my argument that this is worse than Watergate, it's an easy one to make. It is an easily persuadable argument. It doesn't take more than an ABC in a conversation with somebody to get them there. Now, if you can't get to ABC, they're partisan tribalists. They subscribe to their political tribe, and there's nothing you can really do with them. You just kind of got to move on if you run into one of those. But we've all found them before.
Right. I've seen this painted as even a coup. To remove a duly elected president. That's not that bombastic of a statement anymore, because
sounds accurate, actually.
Yeah, it was
this was an attempted coup to unseat a duly elected president because some within the higher echelons of our government could not accept the actual results of the 2016 election.
Yeah. And they used here's the charge of Obamagate, and really what it boils down to. President Barack Obama used the highest levels of the intelligence agency in the government to spy on a political opponent, and then outed people within his campaign, Trump's campaign, which was General Michael Flynn, for political gain. It's one thing to do it for criminal gain. They did it strictly for political purposes and cause damage to the government and country that is coming into power. Now, can you, I don't even say it's inflating. Can you compare that to treason at that point? Sounds
an awful lot like it, don't it?
Yeah, by definition, actually.
It's by golly, if you were to pull it like chicken, unfortunately for this episode, you're our Jamie, pull up the Webster's Dictionary definition of treason. And now, Tony, curious, of all the things we've been hearing, how close do you think we're going to get here? Okay. Would you mind reading it for the folks at home, chicken?
So treason, and this is the legal dictionary.freedictionary.com's, and it kind of breaks it down a little bit better because Article 3, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution states, treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort, end quote. Treason requires overt acts and includes the government of giving of government security secrets to other countries, even if friendly, when the information could harm American security. Treason can include revealing to an antagonist country secrets such as the design of bomber being built by a private company for the Defense Department, blah, blah, blah. Treason may include espionage, spying for a foreign power, or doing damage to the operation of the government and its agencies, particularly involved in security, but is separate and worse than sedition, which involves a conspiracy to upset the operation of the U.S. government.
Oh, so you're saying this, what we're talking about, like, no. We're not talking about treason other than that last sentence there, which is still in there. But we're definitely talking about sedition. Okay. All right. Thanks so these seditious acts of trying to disrupt no, actually, no. Michael Flynn's a goddamn 2-star general who is tied with our national security apparatuses. Yeah. And so, yes, that does very much. My apologies.
He may have been. I can't remember.
I thought it was 2-star. But so, yeah, this is. This is bad. This is a scandal, no matter how you want to look at it. And Obama knew about it. Now,
You don't have to look at it. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it's out in the open now.
You can ignore it.
Well, here's
you still
the thing.
choose to ignore it.
If Obama doesn't have a sealed pardon for himself in an envelope somewhere in his study before he left office, if he didn't sign himself a sealed pardon, I'm just going to say this quite clearly into the microphone. If he does not have one, he is the dumbest motherfucker to walk this earth. Okay? No, you can guarantee he's going to walk free because he's got himself a sealed pardon somewhere. So, but Comey, he might want to lawyer up. He might want to lawyer himself up. Obama would happily sacrifice James Comey so he can walk. Joe Biden and fucking Obama would have. Oh yeah, here you go. Here's Comey. Have him. Here you go, right wing. Here's your chum. They would. Yeah, they would. So
I can't believe that we live in the country we do, and we're allowed to use the term treason so loosely and only put it on a situation if we want to. And we live in a country where, like you said, Obama pardoned himself while he was still in office, just in case. It's just lunacy to me.
Oh, yeah. Now, we're just talking theoretically, of course, here, folks. We're just talking in pure alleged theory. Yes, thank you, Tony. But, no, so what you're telling me, Chicken, is this does sound pretty damn... now, I'm no legal scholar here. I mean, other than when I am, I'm a constitutional and philosophical scholar, but no, a legal scholar, no. But this does sound pretty close to what you said of sedition there. Now we'll see how that pans out.
Even Trump has said that this is treasonous, and he wants people jailed for their involvement in any of this. He said that publicly in interviews on TV,
this is
national TV. The president saying Obama's team was treasonous.
Treasonous. When the president accuses someone of treason, that is one of those moments you still just need to pay attention to and kind of wow.
When was the last time a president said that?
Probably World War II or some shit. I don't know, but I off the top of my, I'm sure Andrew Jackson.
That's what I mean. Over the last 4 years, the word treason's become useless.
I was about to say, I'm sure Andrew Jackson said it every other week, but that's a different. Yeah. You're a traitor. You're treasonous. You're treasonous. But yeah, that's a different story. But in modern history, I don't know. But that's unfortunately, this is one of those. Boy, if the shoe fits. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it might be something, guys. Just say.
Yeah.
To kind of
might not be
along,
a goose.
Let's speed along a little bit on some of the timeline and story. I think what was her name again? It's Kayleigh what? The press secretary McKay or
Kayleigh McEnany.
Yeah, something like that. I do have interview or one of her press conferences where she lays it out pretty well. This is about 3 minutes long, I believe. So enjoy. This was very educational, if nothing else. If you want to look this up for yourself, and she asks questions to the media fairly and throws it back at them. I thought she did a fantastic job with this one. So without further ado, let me make sure her sound's on. And fellas, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to mute you to make sure we don't get that weird echo. But then, yeah, here we go.
Switching gears for just a moment. Also, in his interview with Maria Bartiromo the other day, the president suggested that people should be jailed for what he said earlier in the week was a very obvious crime. You're an attorney and the president's spokesperson. Perhaps you could lay out the elements of this crime. What crime was committed and in what way?
I assume you're referring to the Obama administration and the unmasking and...
The president calls OBAMAGATE. What is it? What are the elements of that crime?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked, because there hasn't been a lot of journalistic curiosity on this front, and I'm very glad that you asked this question. Look, there were a number of questions raised by the actions of the Obama administration. The Steele dossier, funded by the Democratic National Committee, the opposition political party to the president, was used to attain FISA warrants to listen in on conversations of people within the Trump campaign. There was the unmasking the identity of Michael Flynn. And we know that in a January 5th meeting in the Oval Office with President Obama, Sally Yates from the Department of Justice learned about the unmasking, not from the Department of Justice or from the FBI. She learned about it from President Obama and was stunned and could barely process what she was hearing at the time, because she was stunned of his knowledge of that. We know that there was a lot of wrongdoing in the case of Michael Flynn. The FBI notes, for instance, that said, should we, quote, get him to lie, as they pontificated their strategy. We know that the identity of this 3-decade general was leaked to the press, a criminal leak to the press of his identity in violation of his Fourth Amendment rights. These are very serious questions. They've been ignored by the media for far too long, and I'm very glad that I think that is the second question that I have fielded on Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, because justice does matter. Those questions, they matter.
To be clear, I heard you mention one thing you said was criminal, and that was what?
The one thing that I've said that was criminal? The leaking of his name and the very real questions that have been raised. But if you want to start talking about wrongdoing in the administration, happy to go through Andy McCabe leaking to the Wall Street Journal and then lying about it. Happy to talk about James Clapper lying before Congress, saying the NSA does not monitor phone calls. That was an inaccuracy, to say the least, if not a lie. And John Brennan telling Congress that the bogus Steele dossier played no role in the Russia probe, when in fact we know it did and was the basis of attaining FISA warrants. So there's a lot of mistruths there that were said, many of them under oath. So I would point you to those and the many other real questions that I hope you all will pursue.
So the president's view that those people should be jailed, the people you just mentioned.
I never said that. Those are your words, not mine. But perhaps you should look into it and get me some answers. That is, after all, the job. That is, after all, the job of reporters, to answer the very questions that I've laid out, and I hope you guys will take the time to do it. And I also find it interesting, if we want to start talking about fabrication of crimes, we can litigate that case pretty publicly with James Clapper, who said what President Trump did with Russia pales, that Watergate paled in comparison. We can talk about Eric Swalwell lying and saying President Trump was working on behalf of the Russians. We can talk about Hakeem Jeffries lying and saying the president was a Russian asset. We can talk about Schiff saying there was ample evidence of collusion in plain sight when in fact there was not. We can talk about Mark Warner saying there's enormous amounts of evidence of collusion. We can talk about a CNN historian who said there was a smell of treason in the Trump-Russia probe when in fact for 3 years you all talked about collusion and there was none. And it was a huge injustice, not just to this administration, but to the American people who deserve truth, not the alleging of absolutely false allegations against this president.
So, yes.
Hang on. I can't drop this because it's attached to an arm. But
I know. I want to
to
do a video where I just have like the thug glasses like dropping down and.
Yeah.
Woo! I mean, I had to like the rest of this
straight
acid
thug.
blonde.
My
Like
God.
that was just ooh, that was a slaughter. Like I don't know how to even like that was just wow. Well done.
Acid
And you know
blonde.
what? That is one of those things.
Ironic.
And yeah, I had to pour some Dalmore 15 over that one and have some of this acid cigar here. And yeah, acid blonde. What the hell? My word, but she did bring up something that still to this day kind of pisses me off.
What's that, Phil?
James Clapper. What the fuck? If anyone else, he lied before Congress. It was provable. He knew it. Any other U.S. citizen, that is a 5-year prison sentence. James Clapper still to this day walks free because he is one of the chosen Mandarin bureaucrat unelected officials that gets to administer our government for us. And he's one of the chosen, what I like to call the political class. He is part of that very much. It's like George Carlin made the joke years ago about that big club and you ain't in it. He is certainly in it because the rules don't apply to him.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up. You know, he's considered one of the made men of Washington D.C.
Yep, clearly.
Yeah,
He lied
clearly.
before Congress and got away with it scot-free. Scot-free. Nobody else on God's green earth could do that.
It's widely publicized too. You can just do a quick search of James Clapper lies under oath, and there are just a gauntlet of media like articles about what he did, what he said, and yeah, wow.
Well, Edward Snowden's leaks proved him to be a liar.
Yep.
He said, well, yeah, the NSA can spy on anybody at any time. And just like a few months before, Clapper said, no, we don't spy on Americans, and we don't ever do that. And I've never done that. And I'm not aware of it, and it doesn't happen. And then he is directly shown to be a liar. He lied before Congress. If you do that, if I do that, if anybody does that, that's 5 years in prison.
Yep.
The fact that he walks free is an offense to the concept of justice. I'm sorry. I know the guy's probably done a lot of great things that you could point to, but God damn it, man. What if we're going to go after guys like Flynn for, in essence, he sat down in an informal interview. He knew they had the transcripts of the talks he was talking about, and they said, did you say this? He goes, well, I guess if you think I said that, I guess I said that. And that was in essence what they got him for.
So
That was
you're saying that if I am running, say, a massive unconstitutional surveillance program and then lie about it under oath and then admit that my statements were untruthful, we set a precedence to where I can just walk scot-free?
Apparently, that's the precedent now. 'Cause it happened with Clapper. Yeah, that one just like, if we're going to strictly apply justice to minor street level crimes like we see every day, like we all have people in our lives that the law has been a little over rambunctious on them for minor street level crimes, like we've all seen it. And then this guy commits bald-faced lie in front of our elected officials, in front of us, in front of everyone, and it is proven so. And these are the rules that say this is the punishment, and you just walk for it. It is an offense to the very concept of justice.
Sure. Well, then, while we're kind of on the injustice part, let's get into Flynn, because there's a lot of talk about him right now. Because everybody's like, well, why is all this coming out over Flynn? Like, he admitted to it and he pled guilty and now he's being exonerated.
Here's my tiny little violin playing for all those people that are upset that it's happening over Flynn.
Or even plain people that most people hear that and go,
I'll drink to the general.
Most people hear the news say, well, he pleaded guilty 2 times and he admitted to all this. So then 90% of the public that's not, really in the weeds on any of this goes, oh, well, why is he being exonerated then if he admitted to doing something? Any insight to that one, Phil?
Well, I think most of the public, the general public, is aware of the concept of copping a plea to put it behind you. I think we can all wrap our minds around that. Okay, like we all know somebody that's done that before. So, like so the idea that Flynn says, yeah, it was wrongly prosecuted, and this was just this was malicious prosecution, and now with the release of these notes saying, what's the goal? Truth admission, or are we going to try and prosecute him and get him fired? That is proof of malicious intent at that point. Like it is a good thing for justice that Flynn walks now, because the prosecution was, the law enforcement apparatus was corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other way to put it.
So here's, and I haven't found the documentation to back this up. This is, for me, this is unconfirmed, but I have heard several reports that the main reason he agreed to a plea deal, well, first off, they entrapped him with all kinds of bogus ways of doing it. They told him the investigation was over, and then kind of did the, hey, pal, how's it going? You remember this conversation? He didn't have it in writing, didn't have a lawyer present, didn't know he was under any type of investigation. That aside,
they told him, they actually kind of gave him a subtle threat. If we could just meet real quick, we won't have to inform the DOJ of this. But if you need an attorney present, then the DOJ is going to have to get involved, I'm afraid. So, that's up to you. We could meet you in 2 hours and have this little informal meeting, though. And so that's how they got him, they kind of told, you don't need to have your lawyer present, which that's never good when law enforcement tries to play that game. That usually doesn't go well for the prosecution if they're trying to avoid legal counsel being there. And then actually the DOJ was flipping its wig about, why are you interviewing major members of the national security apparatus without informing us first? And so that was...
Well, how about the part where, and this is the one that I'm not sure is totally truthful or not, I'm still looking into it, the fact that they told him to take the plea deal and plead guilty to this, or they were going to start investigating his son, which had just had a son of his own. So, grandson's going to be without dad. And so his son was a lobbyist. You could find a crime against any lobbyist, I guarantee you. You could just throw dart at a wall and be like, yep, got him. Got him.
Yeah.
But they threatened, say, hey, Flynn, you admit to this? We got you with this. Why don't you just admit to it? Put all this behind you, and we're not going to go after your son. But if you fight us on this, we're going to go after your son, and we're going to throw him in jail. So yeah, what would any dad do?
Wow, that's what Flynn did what he had to do, and he copped a plea to get out of it, and basically he did that to protect his family, which unfortunately,
anybody would have done, though.
Yeah, there's hardly a person in this audience that wouldn't have done the same thing. Okay, like that's just being truthful there. So yeah, when they're thinking, well, when you hear the higher ups in the media, he copped and he admitted that he lied. Everybody else out here in real America understands copping a plea to put it behind you. And that's what Flynn did. And now he's got proof that he got done dirty. And I got no problem with...
But people don't care about that, because now they can put the pin in their hat that, well, he admitted. And that's all we're going to focus on. That's all we're going to care about, because that's what pushes our narrative. Not the fact that there's all these other, details over here. All I can do is I can put that at the bottom in a footnote with a smaller print. What you need to look at is the headline, and that's all we're going to focus on.
Well, that does kind of show, unfortunately, where certain people will stand, though. It's like, are you standing with us out here in regular America, or are you standing with the high and vaunted political class that lives above us and rules over us? And so this is another one of those, what I kind of like to call night flare moments, like in battles in World War I, they throw flares up into the sky in the middle of the night while people were fighting in the trenches, and the flare would go off, and for just a second, you could see where everybody stood on the battlefield. You could actually get a good impression as to where everyone is. And this is another one of those night flare moments where you get to actually see, where does everybody actually stand on this? Because this isn't an easy ABC 1, 2, 3 topic. You need to actually invest a little bit of mental energy into it to really say you have an objective understanding. There's the partisans on either side that'll say, oh, this is actually what happened, and God damn it, we know now. But you have to actually invest a little bit of understanding into it. And that's why I call this one of those night flare moments. We've had them over the last few years, but this is another one.
Yeah, it's really hard to get people to pay attention to the nuance behind it, because again, I say this,
people don't have long attention spans.
Not only that, they get emotionally attached to things, and
ooh, there's a birdie.
Yeah.
I, I see it all the time. Just on Facebook the other day, a family member of mine, posting fake news like it's nothing, and I'm like, do I even call it out anymore? Like, do I even? Because they are so emotionally attached to what they post on social media. Like, not even necessarily they said it. They just shared a post, and I'm like, hey, that's been debunked like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, like I wouldn't even touch that. Like, even saying something, hey, that's fake news. I can prove it to you real quick. I'm just letting you know. I'm not trying to fight with you. I just want you to know that that's not true. It's attacking their. It's almost like politics has become a religion with some people that have this TDS or just in whatever it is in general. It's fucking crazy right now.
Yeah, it's part of people's identity. So that you're going to have a really hard time decoupling people from that.
Well, like you said, it's like a religion for people, but it's worse than that, because religion in most cases takes years, a long time, mostly lifetime, to really get in tone with. Politics, people can jump on their computer, their phone, and become a supposed expert on any given piece of information that they think that they're an expert on. It takes no effort to repeat bullshit, but it makes you sound smart. So people identify with that because it takes no effort. Religion takes a lot of dedication. Becoming a so-and-so quote-unquote expert in politics, no effort whatsoever.
Well, I have to ask you guys, why are people so emotional and so invested, and in some cases get violent over it, and they will cut people out of their lives over politics? And you're asking why? It seems so trivial. Is it, though? Is it really? Because what I'm getting at is it's not religion, it's tribes. People are politically tribal. And why are they politically tribal? Because as of right now, the great game of American politics is an information war being fought amongst every single American citizen over spoils far greater than the spoils of any battle in all of history. The tax base and printing press of the U.S. federal government. That is the finest, highest spoils of war any group could achieve. And now we have, what, for lack of better terms, two different political ideologies that are competing for control of that massive lever of power. So you've got the far leftists who believe in centralized collectivist ideologies, and you have the Republicans that, for lack of better terms, believe in kind of a watered down individualism light. And that's the two competing narratives that we have that are fighting for this near infinite godlike power that we have now bestowed upon our federal government in the 20th century, that is held over like a hangover into our 21st. So this is why people are so tribal, because we are in a giant culture war over the fucking greatest spoils that any civilization has ever been able to possibly lay their hands on.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game, though. It's a very dangerous game.
That it is, sir.
Now, the American public is, I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of the shit on the news in the last few days, even with the protests and the media coming to clash. I follow a couple of lefty and a couple of righty guys on YouTube, independent journalists, and one of them's kind of a righty. He went to a lockdown protest, and just because he had a press pass, everybody at that protest assumed he was a left-wing media correspondent, and they started harassing him and calling him names. But like he just goes with it and plays it off, just because it makes good ratings, I'm sure. But and then you had that one local anchor who, just like, he's crying like crazy. CNN's just loving this dude. But they chased him down, and well, not even chased him down. They're like, they just kept yelling at him. Fake news is not essential. And I don't see what's so controversial with that. It's very true. And as soon as he walked up on the scene, that's exactly, everybody kept chanting at him. Fake news is not essential. Fake news is not essential. And then one guy walks by him and was like, hey, I remember when your show used to be good. I don't know what happened to you guys. Like, everybody there is just disgusted with the media. Now, why is that? The propaganda machine taking it too far? People are waking up to some of this. You got people paying attention now.
Remember the movie V for Vendetta?
Yeah.
Do you remember that movie? Okay,
Yeah.
one of the most essential points in that movie is very overlooked, and it's the three dudes sitting in the pub. Okay, and at first the one dude's like, yeah, whatever, okay, yeah, whatever they say, all right, I'll go with that. And by the end of the movie, all three of them are looking at each other. Can you believe this bollocks they're putting on the TV? But that's where the American public is at with news. Like, we just don't believe it anymore. The boy who's cried wolf, the media that's cried crisis too many times, and we're just numb to it now. So
that's it. You're right. Boy who cried wolf, and now almost everybody at some point is just refuses to believe what's put in front of them. And it does go back to that tribalism, though, because there's people that refuse to believe anything certain portions of the media say. And then there's some of it's true, though. And now we're going to get to that point where they're actually reporting true stuff and factual stuff and informative, important stuff. And nobody's going to fucking believe it. Because, like you said, they've cried wolf too many times. They've fabricated it too many times.
They have no one but themselves to blame, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
It's expanding beyond just your regular news sources too. It's getting into whether it be social media, but even here's YouTube. I just looked up Obamagate on YouTube. Remember when you used to look up something on YouTube and you just have a whole bunch of like independent videos and
Yep. I did this too about an hour and a half ago. I did the same thing you did about an hour and a half ago. And yeah, it was all like Washington Post, MSNBC. Obamagate is a stupid conspiracy theory made up by right wingers.
They swear everything on here is not being pushed to the left wing. Okay. Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Now this news. Yeah, that's Guardian News. Fuck. Now this news. Oh, let's see. Finally, we get a Fox News, and then MSNBC, The Hill, Bloomberg, MSNBC again, like in Reuters. That's probably the first one I might actually click on and maybe trust, and depending on who actually did it.
You know why? You know why they keep pushing folks like Trevor Noah, John Oliver, and Samantha Bee, even though, despite the fact that they're really not. Yeah, but you know why?
They are.
Like, because Jon Stewart, he was truly brilliant, but he let everybody in the audience laugh once in a while. But the idea is, there's a reason why they push these political humorists, and it's because of something known as framing. When you get someone to laugh, you have the potential to change their frame. Someone who's laughed has had their frame or the way that they see a situation shifted. And so it's tremendously persuasive. And that's why they let these John Olivers of the world and Trevor Noahs and Samantha Bees, despite the fact that they're clearly unfunny, they're basically just kind of trying to copy paste what Jon Stewart did. But, what Jon Stewart did required actual talent and had to have a certain charisma. With these three, if you happen to laugh in the middle of their finger wagging lectures, that is incidental. And now that they've lost their audiences, it's actually kind of hilarious to watch how badly they fucking suck. Like, oh my God, John Oliver is unwatchable without his little clapping seals there to agree with him. So yeah, it's it has been kind of, like, since you said Trevor Noah, I had to bring that up. That's why he's being pushed, is because when you use humor, it allows people to change their framing, and so it is kind of, as much as I hate to say, a subtle form of attempted brainwashing.
Sure. Here's I'm gonna mute you fellas again real quick. I want to play that video of the. I know. I'll mute myself too. It's not just you. I'm gonna go ahead and play that video of the reporter getting heckled, because it is fun to watch people be heckled, especially if they're terrible people.
just trying to get by on the sidewalk, that's all.
You shouldn't be here. You're fake news.
News is not essential. Fake news is not essential. Fake news is not essential.
Some of them trying to prevent me from filing this report on Facebook Live and repeatedly invading my personal space.
I think you need to back away from me.
No, I got
sir.
hydroxychloroquine. I'm fine.
I'm just standing here. This guy will not get away from me.
Yeah.
Can you back away?
Put up these barriers near the sidewalk and talk to protesters about social distancing.
You are the enemy of the people.
You are fake news.
You are the
We all
enemy.
know it. You are fake news. We know about your liberal agenda. We know you want to keep your job. We get it. You're not getting advertiser dollars in right now.
You're not going to answer, so you're just going to go live.
Yes, I am getting a paycheck.
I'm very happy, but other people are not getting paychecks, and they're
That's why
not
we're
getting.
here.
You used to be a good channel at one time.
You allow people.
I don't know what happened to you. There we go. You.
Away. 6 feet.
Yeah. Put me on TV too. My name is Rich.
You're supposed to be unbiased. You're not unbiased. You let so much crap fly on your Facebook page. It's disgusting. You're disgusting.
Oh boy, that one. Oops, sorry. That one always. That was good.
Jesus.
It goes on.
It's like,
There's more
yeah,
to it.
Your
But
channel used to be something, man. What happened to you? Like, wow, some of those are kind of biting. Like, it's like, ow, man. Like, yeah, if I was a reporter, saying, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck? Whatever do you?
oh, and that
Yeah,
one,
that one was
where
pretty funny. That one guy.
they're invading my space. I was like, what the fuck? Like, and that one lady's like, 6 feet
Yeah.
back, sir. 6 feet back.
What were we? So let's get the information right here. He was there to report on what, and they were there protesting what? Let's put that into perspective.
So
Obviously, I'm assuming they were protesting just the businesses, locals being shut down, and they want the ability to reopen without any harassment over it. Correct?
right. And he shows up wearing a mask with press credentials. There, everybody there is not wearing a mask, so you kind of stick out like a sore thumb.
Sure.
You could see him punt it. Yeah, he was really going after a couple of narratives there that his own video doesn't show. Like, I think it was all staged. Like, personally, like, he's doing this is clickbait. Like, he knows these people don't like him. This is a local reporter.
He wanted to stick out. He wanted the reaction.
I'm about to say, I don't think
Right,
it's
he
staged.
gets shit on Facebook. They're talking about his Facebook page and how terrible it is. You know, people already don't like him before he did this.
I don't think it's staged, but I think it's kind of like a low key, like low IQ Steven Crowder. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yep.
let me just go to where I know people.
Shock
are
drama,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a big conservative. Hey, I'm here on this lefty college campus. Am I a touch unwelcome?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's his gimmick. And so he's trying to infringe on the Crowder gimmick.
I like that. And when they go to, if they go to like a Hillary rally and they start saying, well, Trump's suggesting that they do this, and it's actually one of Hillary's policies. Like, oh yeah, just can't believe he would do that. Or they flip it back around, like, oh, Hillary wants to do this, and it's actually Trump's idea. And they're, oh, I could really get behind that. What a great idea! She's a visionary. It just cracks me up because that's how easily manipulated people are, and the people that take the time to go out to these rallies. That's how easily manipulated they are. So what does it tell you about the rallying process? It's nothing but sheep and people who don't actually give a shit about what it is that they're rallying for. They're identifying with a candidate, and that's all it is. They're identifying with a tribal party, like you said, Phil. They don't actually care about the issues. They don't care about the politics. They just care about fitting in and belonging to the brand that they supposedly support.
Yeah. One side screeches and is loud long enough, I guess the other side will start screeching back eventually. I think that's what we're finally seeing. We've seen we've seen the screeching for years. I think somebody's eventually going to screech back.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old law of physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if you lie for so long,
even if it's delayed,
yeah. But yes, you do have a good point there.
Oh.
But yeah, it's kind of fascinating. But I just like the get the fuck out of here, fuck you, yeah, put me on TV. My
Yeah, he
name
even
is
says
and
his
he's like,
name.
"Uh-oh."
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's like, "Uh-oh, get away from him. This isn't going the way I wanted it." Like, yeah, they only want to get your camera if you're like, yeah, no, don't put my face on the camera. So yeah, if you're at a rally and you want the attention, do that at first, and then they'll not leave you alone for 5 minutes.
So Phil, you know, in the teaser for this, posed a couple questions. We've talked about Flynn and how he was kind of a sacrificial lamb in this whole process. Maybe, yeah, he was just kind of fodder at a certain point. How much did Obama know? We watched the one video with Kaylee with the White House there. She had mentioned that it was brought up to him in a meeting, and people were surprised that he knew of the unmasking of Flynn. How direct or indirect between Biden and Obama do you think a lot of this investigation and a lot of this, did it come directly from them, you think, or they just let it keep going and go, "Ooh, I can politically benefit from this"? So how big of a hand did they have?
My personal opinion, or what the facts are bearing out right now?
Personal opinion, because there's going to be facts for weeks on this. We're going to find out.
My instincts tell me that Obama was perfectly well aware of it. He wanted to keep his fingerprints as far off of it as he could, but certain orders had to come from the top in order for them to get carried out. So there's going to be some fingerprints, but like I said, there's going to be enough sacrificial lambs. Comey is a great sacrificial lamb for Obama. You can see that pretty easily. But I have no proof, but you really don't need a weather vane to know which way the wind is blowing now, do you? This was all done under Obama's orders and direction. We all know this. This isn't some mystery. Like, we're just finding out that he knew, yes, something every single thinking human being knew in their amygdala fucking lizard hindbrains, that yes, Obama knew exactly what was going on and was directing it. So yeah, this is not some big mystery. Like, I don't deserve some big award for cracking the case here. Like, no, we all fucking know this, and we all just kind of pretend that we don't, because otherwise civilization fucking collapses. Just like so. That's we all know this. Yes, Obama did it. He knew it. He directed it. He ordered it. He oversaw it and was disappointed in its failure, clearly. So yeah, we all know this. I don't have any proof yet, but you heard it here first, folks, for when the proof inevitably proves me right. So there you go.
I look forward to the day.
It might be years from now, but the shit I just said over the last 2 minutes has pretty much a 100% chance of eventually being proven right. Might be decades, but everything I just said, 100% chance of being right. Guaranteed. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I know. I think you're right with that long-term timeline, because I don't think even if it's possible to get all the evidence put together and actually, charge Obama with anything or even make the allegations, I don't think the media is going to allow it to move. They'll bury it. Nobody's helping uncover some of this stuff because they hate Orange Man so goddamn much that we're just ignorant to justice at a certain point. And if you think that Obama's innocent, then investigate it and prove him innocent.
Well, with what you just showed me there, we've clearly got like the Washington Post and MSNBC clearly and openly running interference for Obama. They're clearly running defensive stories for Obama because Obamagate's dropping. They're
pushing the narrative right now that it's all bullshit. They're already trying to ingrain the thought that there's no truth here. Yeah. The news is pushing conspiracy theory on something that people should go, yeah, I'd kind of like to see where this goes. But now the people that weren't going to give this a chance unless they were told to not give it a chance. They're not going to give it a fucking chance. So I guess it just baffles me how we just did this, not how many months ago with the Biden shit. And when people are like, well, my goodness, obviously Donald Trump's clearly guilty of collusion. He admits it on the White House lawn in this video right here. And it's like Phil said many a time, you have to assume 90% of this. He didn't say shit. It's all just based off of assumption and what you want to hear. Well, then you have Joe Biden go on a fucking stage on television and admit to doing the same shit. And then you warp it and you twist it and you shape it how you want to fit your narrative. Well, no, that's not collusion because And now it comes full circle. The former president, Obama. So we're just doing this over and over and over again. Again, it's Republicans are the ones that they try to take down with this type of shit, and Democrats seems to get the pass. So let me ask you guys this. Do you think, honestly, even we can go back as far as George Washington if you want, but I think there was a certain point in history where it just kind of became the normal thing to do as a president, to try to find information that might help you and your particular cabinet or your party affiliation in the future. Am I off base here, but do you think there was a point in time where that just kind of became the normal for every sitting president and cabinet?
To dig up dirt on your political opponents? Never.
Yes.
Never.
Yeah.
That's never happened in the history of politics. In the history of humanity, nobody's ever tried that.
I would say Barry Goldwater was when it got really crazy. That was kind of one of the big turning points in American politics where it was just now, of course, a couple elections leading up to the Civil War, that had some pretty good demonization in those. Boy, that was magnifique demonization of your opponents in those particular campaigns. But other than that, it's been kind of ingrained in American public for at least 120 years. Yeah. Those campaigns, those were a little rough.
Were those lizard people too, Phil?
No, I don't know about that one. I don't know how deep that rabbit hole goes, Tony. Alex Jones ain't on the airwaves
real,
anymore. Alex Jones ain't on the airwaves.
You heard it here first. Lizard people are real.
Lizard people.
Okay.
No, Tony, the first lizard person president was Jimmy Carter. Don't you know?
Oh, wow.
Sorry, chicken. You might have to edit that one out.
I don't know.
Fuck it.
Jimmy Carter sucks. He was a terrible president.
Jimmy Carter. Jimmy. Breaking news. Lizard people real.
Yes.
All right.
See?
Oh, God. That's outstanding. Thanks, Phil. I needed that rant. That was beautiful.
Yes. The Jimmy Carter lizard people.
So beyond,
I promise the lizard people more human flesh than any other president since the Johnson administration.
So going back to Jesus Christ. Sorry, folks. we get off on tangents sometimes. If you're used to the live shows, you're used to this.
Why does the Johnson administration provide so much? Wait, so many questions.
So much unwrapped there.
Let's get back to it. We're talking Obama.
Yes, circle back.
Back. I don't know. My final question, we can move on to other topics unless you guys have more to talk about, was how far is Trump going to push this? I know he's going to ride every inch of this he can throughout an election, but say we get through, say he beats Biden, assuming Biden's still the nominee at that point. There's a lot to get into at that point, but
God, that's not even a given anymore.
I know it's not. They almost kind of told on themselves that they're trying to get him out. But anyway, if Trump versus Biden happens, Trump's going to use all of this as much ammo as possible. He's going to save a lot of leaks and a lot of information until right before you're going to get that October surprise. That's no matter what, he's got this planned. He does. You know that all this is in the works. if no heads roll and nobody gets jailed, does he continue to push it after he gets reelected? Assuming he gets reelected, especially if he's against Biden. But does he continue to push for it, or does he just let it go at that point because he's a 2-term, or is he's going to be old as hell? But 3 years of impeachment, people are talking about, can he do a 3rd term if he claims that his 1st term was pretty much taken from him? Like, I've heard it argued from the political spectrum both ways. Does he become
that's just funny as shit.
a 3-term? Like, is that even possible? Some people say it's not. Some people say it is.
Oh, I mean, I remember when Trump made a joke and people shit a chicken.
I got a big spoon and a pot right now.
Well, I mean, FDR was allowed 4 terms as a Democrat. Why is a Republican president not allowed 4 terms? It would be tremendous. It'd be spectacular. It'd be the greatest 4 terms in all 4-termery. So yeah, that's I can see Trump trying to make that kind of an argument, but oh boy, but yeah.
God.
Now, do I think he's going to go after some of these folks? You're thinking, well, he's old, but you forget that some of these people were threatening his own children with prison time. You remember all that?
That's fair.
They're going after Don Jr. They're going after his kids. If Donald Trump wins re-election, the inauguration will be on January 20th. I would expect indictments to hit by February 15th. By Valentine's Day, we'll have indictments. And yeah, people will be wrapped up in some shit. So, but that's how I see that if Trump wins re-election. And that'll be red meat for his base. I'm sorry, it just will be. And if he were to win the election decisively, he might even try to do it like November, December, but I think he's going to wait post-inauguration.
Yeah. So the question is, does he ride this #OBAMAGATE thing into the ground? I think
only helps
he's probably going to ride. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think this is going to ride easily into the election, obviously. I don't know if it's going to go much further than that, because I think you're missing one thing right now is this is a great distractor, because right now he's trying to reopen the country. I think this is a great distraction tool as he reopens the country from the COVID stuff, because this gets people's minds off of that, and it makes it easier to start reopening things and reopening the entire country. But once he wins re-election, and right now if it's against Biden, he will win re-election, I don't know that he'll have to go that far with it, because there will be something else that he can ride. There's something else. There's another scandal that they can pull up, because there's always another scandal. There will always be something else, and by that time, and there's probably going to be something before the election that'll pop up that we can focus on as well. So to me, it's just another thing. Unless I'm sure that unless something crazy pops up that they can slap on a TV and a newspaper and says, here is undeniable, undisputable proof that under Barack Obama this happened, and now we can actually do this, there will be something else.
Oh, there's always a new scandal, but this one is juicy, T. You got to admit, this one's got some heat. This one's got some length. It pulls in a lot of power players, and you got Donald Trump at the middle of it, tweeting out to anyone who will listen, Obamagate, 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 Obamagate. And he's one of the few presidents to have a direct line to the American people. Like that, usually the media was the conduit for their messages. And that's why a lot of Republican presidents got portrayed as evil. And so he has a direct conduit, and so they got to crank up the evil to 11, and that's where we're kind of getting the media that cried crisis.
Fair.
Well, okay, not just Obamagate itself. I don't think that's going to go away, because again, that's just brilliant branding. I think that there's just going to be more stuff added to it, because that's, like I said, it's a great tool, like you alluded to earlier, Phil. We're just going to pile onto it, and it's just all going to be coupled in with the Obamagate tagline. Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
One time Biden shit his britches in kindergarten on the playground. Hashtag Obamagate. Like,
I think no, don't do that with a Donald Trump voice. Do that with Joe Biden's voice, because I'm sure that's one of his speeches.
look, folks. Look. One time.
Hold on, I got to
One
make
time-
the camera go blurry and make your audio fuck up real quick.
When I was in kindergarten, look, folks.
Oh,
Okay,
oops,
I
what's
shit
going
my
on?
britches on the playground. And look, folks. And yeah, for a second I was Tony G, I think. I don't remember exactly how it all went. But all right, that's my time.
Yeah, time's up. I don't know why I'm stepping away, but my time's up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk off the camera out here. I'm just gonna and there goes the TG taser. So
Yeah, he must have children walking in the room.
So chicken. Anything else we need to touch on this evening, sir?
I do have, if anybody listening in is curious, let me share on my screen here. If you want to get balls deep into the Obamagate timeline, now granted, this is from a conservative source, but they do have links and references to everything. It's actually a really, really well put together. It looks like a little Wikipedia page, but let me get it scrolled back up here.
I love how Republican works have to be like fully APA sourced and everything. Like it's
Yep. So this is from Conservapedia. So conservapedia.com/Obamagate_timeline. It breaks everything back to vanguardism in 2009, and how it all relates all the way up until, they titled
the whole timeline of Obamagate. We could break it down, but it's and welcome back, TG Taser.
The fun part about this is every time they have like a claim on here or a story they want to bring up, they have the reference document listed down below for you to go look at yourself and research yourself. A lot of reference material in here, so a lot of good information. So, yeah. So there you go. I will post it in the show notes as well for anybody who wishes to look into it. But again, conservapedia.com/Obamagate_timeline. And it has a lot of very, very interesting data and facts. And of course, it is a right-leaning website, so it's not going to be very friendly. But there's not a lot of conjecture in there. Most of it is during and immediate after election, CIA, John Brenner, along with the Department of Justice, the FBI, targeted Donald Trump. Like it's pretty straight and to the point. There's not a whole lot. Well, he ran through this he chased the fluffy bunny around in the meadow and brushed the soft leaves of the tree. Like none of that journalistic storytelling bullshit that you're getting from everybody else. This is pretty straight to the point.
Well, that's good. So Tony, you think this isn't going to catch a lot of traction, huh?
Oh, I never said that. Boy, talk about taking things out of context.
Well, no, it's like you're
you're fake news.
You're talking about like, yeah, people aren't really going to pay attention, and we're going to move on. Like, I don't know, man. I think this one.
That's not what I said. No, what I said
Fake
was
news.
This is a great way to distract people right now during the coronavirus propaganda machine, and while we're reopening the country, because Donald Trump says we are reopening with or without a vaccine. It's going to be without, obviously. This is going to be a great tool to help do that a little more seamlessly, because people that are already sick of all that are going to be able to use this as a catalyst to justify doing so. So I don't think that this isn't going to gain traction. Obviously, there's a huge scandal, but again, we've already gone through how many of those this year alone, in the last calendar year. Hell, how many acts of treason, how many conspiracies, how much collusion. It's coming from every side. People are a little burned out on it. So it's not that it's not going to get traction. It's that we've heard this song and dance before on both sides. And I'm sure that there's going to be more things that pop up that people will want to focus on for a little while.
I can't wait till the day we have a political system in place to where there's no controversy, fighting or arguing. Oh, wait. Sorry.
Have you studied human beings for like even 5 minutes? Like,
are you on DMT?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I love you. You love me. Have you ever tried DMT?
And we're on the
It's one of
Rogan
my
show
favorite
now.
Joe Rogan memes. It's so stupid, but it just makes me laugh. But so I get what you're saying there, Tony. It is a good distraction for that, opiate of the masses and such. I get your point there.
Yeah.
But in the end, we've had one political tribe trying as hard as they can to wag their finger and just browbeat down another political tribe over something as if it's the worst thing in all the world. And now the political tribe that's been getting browbeat can now wag their fingers at the people because they've now been caught doing the exact same thing. And so
I feel like I heard that a few months ago too, though.
The fact that that's coming this close to an election year, Tony, is going to be awful handy for the president.
We'll be talking about another Donald Trump collusion thing in about 4 years, about this time, that they can use to justify not voting Republican.
It's like, they're going to be like, this time Donald Trump was colluding with the Puerto Ricans. Like, Puerto Rico is an American territory. Doesn't matter. He was colluding.
Doesn't matter.
Like, that's even if he was, like, I don't know how or why or what that would even look like. But you're correct in that regard, Tony. We'll be hearing about Trump colluding with something or another. I'm kind of shocked we haven't had somebody in Congress actually claim that Donald Trump is in collusion with like extraterrestrials or something like that. I'm waiting for it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe in the second term we can get there. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, folks. Oh Lord. So
don't give any ideas. Oh, should we wrap up that subject? Anything else we want to talk about on OBAMAGATE today?
Is this is probably going to be
lawyer up, deep state. You better lawyer up.
I'm excited to see, like you were alluding to, where does he keep his pardon? Is it on a bookshelf? Is it in a safe? Where is it? I want to know where that is.
If I was Obama, I would be keeping it on my person for the foreseeable future. No, here it is. Here it is. Fuck you. Here it is. No, I got it right here, inside pocket. I don't even take this jacket off anymore. Fuck you. That's where I would keep it if I was Obama or anybody right now, if I had one. If you're wrapped up in this Russiagate deep state thing,
or if you're in the conspiratorial minded folks that I am, I have all of a sudden had a new piqued interest on QAnon. He called this out, supposedly. So I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna start paying attention to Q again.
I'm cautious about Q because it's one of those like, well, Q, this prediction didn't turn out. Well, they heard about my prediction and they changed it. Like, no. It's kind of like Tony. Q kind of reminds me of the dirt sheets, but for politics. Like, he's kind of like Meltzer for politics. He's kind of close, but don't take him as gospel. That's the best way.
You have to decipher a lot, and it's just.
I'm trying to put it in language that Tony will like. Now here, Tony. Q is Dave Meltzer, but with politics.
Makes perfect sense. I get it. Yep.
Yeah, and you can't reveal your identity.
It only makes sense to him.
Yeah. Can't reveal your identity though when you're doing that. So you're getting into the Q, and Q called this. Oh boy, he's gonna be bragging on that one for a few years.
Yep, for sure.
I know some people who follow Q, and they're gonna love this shout out. So.
All right, real quick, folks, in between topics, make sure you go and check us out at all of our pages, to be honest. We got King of Extreme Nation that has recently sparked up. Phil doing a lot of Phil's doing his own videos now. We're so proud of Phil.
He's come such a long way since our little boy.
Yes. And of course, Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, where Tony's got the belt back. Did it show up yet? Yeah, there it is.
It's still in the box. I haven't opened it yet.
I kept the original box. Did you notice?
I did.
Just in case I had to send it right back. Anyway, so in between topics, folks.
To have a really an incredible appetite for drinking, didn't you?
Right, for beer, yes.
Is it true that you, in one sitting, drank 117 beers?
Yes, in one night.
And did that? Were you drunk at the end of that?
I don't remember. I think I passed out.
So yes, there you have it, folks. Andre the Giant 117 beer challenge. Fellas, are you ready for this?
I am ready.
As ready as I can
prepared.
possibly be.
Yeah, this is going to be a challenge for your King of Extreme, but a challenge I am ready to meet. Andre the Giant, historically, famously drank 117 beers in one night. So we here at Big Bucket Entertainment, the RWP, KOE Nation, we are trying to do our honors and justice to this monumental achievement on the boss's birthday, the 19th of this month, where we will, in honor of the boss, drink 117 beers. Now, we need your help, people. We need all of your help. We need you to say in the comments or to send us a video or to send us a text, anything that you're drinking a beer for the boss with us on his birthday. And we will count that towards 117 tally. And this, folks, is how we, I think, pay our tributes to possibly history's greatest drinker, the boss, Andre the Giant.
Yep, and we'll have a live counter on the live show. So you can check out Dog and Chicken Show on YouTube, and if you're a YouTuber, you can jump on there. Or if you prefer the Facebook version, Big Bucket Entertainment, you can not only like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff, but you can click the little get reminder on there. You'll get an alert on your phone right before we go live. But it's 8 p.m. Central Time, Tuesday night, just a couple days away. BYOB, of course. I can't digitally give you any booze. I'm sure there's probably trade laws against that anyway, if there was possible of that. Goddamn government. Anyway. Meh. But yeah, look forward to everybody coming in live. I'm excited about this. Tony and I are beer connoisseurs, or at least used to be. We've slowly shifted into whiskeys and whatnot, but
true.
Tony
This is a good way
can put me
Yeah.
to shame on drinking beer most nights. Like, he can slam that shit.
Oh man, at one time I used to be able to consume a hell of a lot of beer. It's shifted in a different direction anymore these days, and yeah, I'm drinking a lot more scotch and whiskey. And you know what's great? I don't have to piss nearly as often in my older age as I do when I drink beer. So I'm gonna have to bring like a bucket down to piss in while we do this, maybe two.
Maybe.
Lovely. Well, Tony, we're going to need you to call upon those beer drinking skills one more time for the boss. So
I'll try.
This will
I'll
be
try.
All right. Try to get as many down as you can. Anywho, even Andre had a manager with him that day because it was a big beer drinking contest to see how close he could get. Andre's manager, who was a big dude, he was like 6'5", 300 pounds, just big dude. He got like 60 beers down himself, which is pretty impressive. But Andre beat them all, 117. So, I mean, if we can't even beat Andre's manager, who was like 60 at the time, I mean, come on, folks. So we need your help. I think we can do this, folks. Together, all of us in Big Bucket Entertainment and all the denizens of the KOE Nation, I think we can make this happen. So please, on the 19th, Tuesday, coming up. It's coming up here real shortly. This Tuesday.
Couple of days.
Be there. Be square. Be there or be square to this Tuesday. Did I mention it's this Tuesday? To the Andre the Giant Beer Challenge on Tuesday.
Not just that, but we're going to, like you said, we're going to talk a bunch about Andre, tell some of the fabled stories about him, because there's a lot of those fun Andre facts. But the main thing is send in a video or a picture of you sipping or chugging a beer, and we will get to count that as our total as we all try to collectively reach 117. That's the goal. So help us out. We need your help. Stick with us for that. Tuesday.
8 p.m. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Again, you'll be able to jump in the live chat and you can shoot us your contributions there. Just say, hey, yo, I just finished 3 beers. I'm going to bed, whatever. I get it's a Tuesday night. You might have to go to bed early. So we'll take every beer you can drink. And if you just
we'll
want to
leave
call
spots open on the stream.
Yeah, we'll invite you to jump on if you want to have a beer with us on the show. Definitely be able to jump on for a good 10-15 minutes and yeah, we can talk through some things and just bullshit. And we don't really have topics for the night. Phil's going to educate us on how it's humanly possible to drink 117 beers. Look forward to hearing more about that, but yeah, it's going to be a good time. Might as well just call in to work on Wednesday now. If you can, just request the day off. But just hey, boss, I'm just not gonna make it in on Wednesday. I got bigger, more important things to do on Tuesday night.
Yes,
nothing bigger than Andre.
Yeah, there was very few things that were. So, folks, chicken, may I?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
As I'm known to say around here, folks. All that being said, this has been the Dog and Chicken Show Extreme Edition. We have gone deep dive into the topics of the day, but looking forward, folks, this Tuesday, be there for the Andre the Giant 117 beer challenge, where we give the truest tribute we could ever give to the boss by trying to match his monumental task. But no one mere mortal man can do such a thing. And we need your help, folks. This Tuesday, join us, honor the boss, raise a glass, and we will do it together as denizens of Big Bucket Entertainment, KOE Nation, RWP. We are all coming together because this is a project too big for one podcast. Tony, Chicken, take it away, folks.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Phil. Tony?
Yeah, looking forward to Tuesday. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to join with us. And as we move forward doing the episodics and even the lives or the live episodic shows, we are looking for input and we are looking for suggestions on topics you think we should cover, whether it be mystery, politics, sports, etc. We've discussed doing a lot of stuff concerning lists, movies, music, things of that nature. We want your input. We want your suggestions. We want to hear what you want to hear us discuss and talk about and even debate. So have those ideas ready. Make sure to throw them in the comments. Make sure to send them to us, however you want to get it to us. We are looking for your input. Need it. Thank you.
Awesome. Absolutely. As we've taken this show, we started with episodics, and then we went to the live ones. Now that COVID's kind of not fun to talk about anymore, let's be honest. We'll continue with live shows and we'll continue with episodics. What's that, Phil?
We beat that dead horse just a little bit.
I think we beat that. I think we killed the horse like 5 times personally, but yeah, we'll continue. We'll continue with weekly live shows, but then having episodics too. We are Tony. I can't remember the date. We're approaching 1 year of Dog and Chicken Show, aren't we?
I was going to say, I want to say it was in June. I was going to look back and see what date it was, the first episode we uploaded, and see if it's even remotely watchable.
Oh, yeah. The first couple were doozies, weren't they?
The first one was just us like trying out the format.
Yeah. We were still
learning great.
Quite a bit. You know, I have to look this up now because I think we're pretty damn close to it.
We got to be real close.
Bear with me.
I mean, let's be frank here, guys. The moment this podcast really came into its own and went to the next level,
let me guess,
was when you introduced extreme editions. I mean, that's really where it started to blossom into a full and beautiful flower now that its true star was able to shine. And yes, folks, much like Atlas holding up the world, I will hold up this podcast single-handedly, folks. So, yes, this has been the podcast So Nice. We had to outro it twice. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of
May 28th. May 28th.
Signing off to Tony. Take it away.
Jesus Christ. You didn't have to intro.
The first video.
You better watch it, or I'll outro this thing thrice.
Okay. All right.
We're just trying to find the date. Jesus Christ.
He cut the fucking promo. We're trying to wrap this up, and he's cutting promos. The first video went up on May 28th. Don't make us mute you. All right. So yeah, we are coming very close. Right now, we're like 10, 11 days away from our 1 year anniversary from the first video uploaded. So yeah, we'll have to do something
special for that one. We'll more to come on that one, and then we'll do a 1 year for Phil's first time on the Dog and Chicken Show. Our first Extreme Edition, I believe, it was in June.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do another just for Phil.
There we go.
Fulfill his ego. Somebody's got to. All right,
gotta stroke that thing.
That's it. Appreciate you fellas for jumping on.
Yes.
As always, folks, appreciate you tuning in. As always, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, love you. Bye.